Hello, everybody. So this video is going to be an enactment of my vocabulary lesson plan. So for the rest of the video, I will refer to you, the viewer, as my fifth grade classroom. So let's get started. Okay, fifth graders, when you guys are reading and you come across a word that you don't quite know what it means, what are some things that you do to figure out the meaning of that word? Okay, so I hear some people saying that they ask someone, they look it up, or they just try to guess. Those are all great strategies to use, but today we are going to learn how to use context clues to help us clarify the meaning of new words that we may encounter. So let me see if I can move this slide. Okay, awesome. So context clues are like hints that can give us the meaning of an unknown word that we come across. So these can be anything from maybe telling us what the word is or just plain hints, but we're going to go over what type of hints I'm talking about on the next couple of slides. Okay, so one way to look for context clues is to think about ideas. Now, ideas is an acronym, which means each letter stands for something else. We have I, that stands for inferences, which basically is an educated guess. D stands for definitions, which is the actual meaning of the word. E stands for examples, and that can mean getting either some samples or a list that help you identify what that word means. A stands for antonym, which is the opposite of the word means, of what the word means, sorry. And S is for synonym, which is another word that has the exact same meaning or a similar meaning, but we'll go over examples of each one of these in the following slides. So here we are. First slide, inference. An inference is an educated guess. So we're going to use this example down here to help us know how to make an educated guess. So the sentence reads, "My dog is pretty old. That's why he saunters into a room." Saunters. Has anyone heard that word before? Right? It's a new word. It's a little bit unknown. So we have to try to make an educated guess for this sentence and figure out what saunters could mean. So in this previous sentence, we see that it says, "My dog is pretty old." So if I were to make an educated guess, I would say that saunters might mean something like going slow or walking slowly or something having to do with him coming into a room the way an old dog would, right? So that's making an educated guess. We don't have a definition or something telling us what it means, but we do have that previous sentence there that helps us guess what it could mean. So that's one way to use context clues. The next way to use context clues is to use a definition, which is the meaning of the word. So with this same example, it says, "My dog likes to saunter into a room. He walks in a slow, relaxed manner because he's old." So using that same word saunter, now we know that it means walking in a slow, relaxed manner, right? So in this scenario, the context clue is the actual definition of the word, slow, relaxed manner, right? So that is how you would use the definition as a context clue. Now we move on to example. And like we said earlier, an example is either a sample or a list that explains the meaning of the unknown word. Continue on with this story of the dog. It says, "My dog likes to saunter into a room. One time, it took him about 5 minutes just to get through the door." So that second sentence right there gives us that example of what saunter means, right? It took the dog 5 minutes to get through a door. That means that it took him quite a while to get through, which could give us the idea that, he's walking slowly. So now we move on to A, antonym, which is the opposite of that word. And following this example, it says, "I miss when my dog was a puppy. He used to run into my room and now he just saunters." So you see this right here where the arrow is pointing. It says, he used to run into my room. That right there is our context clue of an antonym, because it's saying what the dog used to do, right? What the opposite of what he used to do. Now, he used to run and now he saunters. So it gives us that idea that saunters means that he's walking slowly still, right? Okay. And lastly, we have synonym. Synonym is another word with the same meaning, kind of like when you say you're happy and you're joyful. They both kind of mean that you're having a good time, right? So let's see how it's used in this example. It says, my dog likes to saunter into a room. He goes so slow without a hurry in the world. So again, we have that dog who is sauntering into a room, right? And then the following sentence, or our context clue sentence here, says he goes so slow. So that right there tells us what saunter could mean. Could mean that he's just a slow dog, right? So those are the context clues. Oh, yes, actually there is one more. You can use more than one context clue when trying to figure out the meaning of a word. So in this example, again, the dog, it says, my dog is pretty old. That's why he saunters into a room. He used to go so fast, and now he takes his time. So as you can see here, we did start with the my dog is pretty old. So that can help us make an inference saying that he might be walking slowly. The following sentence says he used to go so fast. That's an antonym. It's the opposite of what saunter means. And then following that little bit of that sentence, it says now he takes his time. Taking his time is a synonym for saunters, right? Because he's walking slowly, he's taking his time, he's an old dog. So it is possible to use more than one context clue to figure out the meaning of an unknown word. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to use context clues to figure out the meaning of an unknown word. I'm also going to show you how to fill out the worksheet that I'm going to give you during our guided reading. So make sure you pay attention to that. Okay, so here is our sentence. It says, many people think that Amazon is making malls obsolete. The mall is no longer the new way of shopping. Take some time to think about that sentence. Our new word here is obsolete. Okay? So just in case anybody needs a refresher, Amazon is just an online shopping service where a mall is a in-person shopping experience. I'm pretty sure some of you have seen a mall before or heard of it, so just think about that. You have an online shopping service and then an in-person shopping service. So let's take some time to think about what we could do, what context clues we can use for this, what strategies we can use for this, and then what the meaning might be. Okay, so we're going to move on. This is similar to the sheet that I'm going to give you. It's going to be a little bit longer, more columns for you to fill out, but this is the gist of it. I am going to get out of presentation mode just so I could fill this out alongside you guys. So let's read that sentence one more time. It says, many people think that Amazon is making malls obsolete. The mall is no longer the new way of shopping. So on my piece of paper, and you guys will get a printed version of this, right here in this column that says unknown word, I am going to write down obsolete, because that is the unknown word. And then if we go back to our sentence, we have to look at what sentence here or what word here would help us figure out the meaning of this word. Which one of these sentences or words is our context clue helper? Right here. No longer the new way of shopping. Now you can shorten this down. You don't have to write the full sentence. Just write down the part that you most believe is going to help you figure out the meaning of this word. So for me, I'm going to write no longer the new way of shopping. Okay. And now the next column, it says strategy used. So personally, I believe the strategy I want to use for this is an inference. Why? Because based off of this sentence here that says no longer the new way of shopping, I can make an educated guess and say that obsolete probably means something that is not new or outdated, right? So here in the strategy used column, I want you to write down inference, or the strategy used, of course. And then for meaning a word, it doesn't have to be exact, just so long as you have a good idea what the word means, that's what you're going to write down in this column. So for me, I am going to write down outdated or not new, right? And I feel confident about that as my definition for the word or my meaning of the word, because I feel like I made a really good educated guess by using this context clue right here. Okay, so that's how you're going to fill this out. Now let me go back to my presentation mode. Oh, wrong button, sorry. That's how you're going to fill that out. So do we have any questions about how to fill this out, how to use any of the strategies, or just any questions in general about this? For spelling, for the strategies used, you will have this anchor chart posted. I'll show you in a minute in the next coming slide. Where is it? You'll have this anchor chart up on the wall so you can make sure you spell things correctly. But now, did I miss something? No, I didn't. Okay, so now you're going to give it a try during the read aloud. The book that we are going to read is Why Mosquitoes Buzz in People's Ears by Verna Ardema, and it's illustrated by Leo and Diane Dillion. So this is the book right here. And as I'm reading, I want you guys to listen for words that are new, something that you haven't heard before and that you don't know the meaning of. We're going to stop and we're going to discuss together and fill out that sheet together. So, give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, so we're going to fill out that sheet together and we will stop and pause and discuss what the unknown word is, what the context clue sentence / helper is, the strategy used, and the meaning of the word. So here is our anchor chart that will be posted on the wall, and let's begin reading. All right, thank you everybody for watching. That was my video on my vocabulary lesson plan. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.